And we are live. Hello, everyone in the chat. I better pull up the chat. Today we are joined by, well, Ali as always,
Hello.
and who has been sanctioned off from Twitter. So
So I
if
can't
you
tweet out
all
the
would be,
link. Meh.
so if you all would be very nice and tweet out the link for her, that would be very nice. I can't because I don't have access to the link. And Hitsugi, who is has apparently broken her microphone.
I think her brother or somebody was talking to her, so she left. I will send you. I will DM you the link so that you can tweet out the link.
Okay.
But I can't tweet out the link. I can from my other account, I guess.
Yeah. I still have my second account and I still don't have a link. Right.
I only have like 20 followers or something on this account.
I actually followed you with that link of that account.
Oh, yeah. I don't even think I can tweet at Hitsugi because she's. Oh no, there we go. Hitsugi and I are streaming. Please. Please. RT because my account is at Harley is looked. Oh my god. So annoying.
Okay, join us, bitches.
I know, I feel like usually I tweet out the link on my Twitter and that lets all the folks know that we're here. And I can't because I don't have Twitter. It went away.
Huh.
Not part of
Okay.
Twitter.
She will be joining. So, anyways, I do have articles. I just have to go and pull them out.
Oh, did you see any of the Monty Riot stuff?
Monty Riot?
Yeah, Monica Riot from Suit Yourself is always ripping her a new asshole. she did a stream. She was trying to like, I guess, play off of Suit's video.
Yeah.
And
didn't work
so
well.
a ton of Suit fans went there to tell her that like nobody was there to harass her. And I don't know, she like freaked out. She blocked Suit.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this is the first I'm hearing of that.
Suit was like he was like sending it the link to everybody. He's like, she's live. And then everybody was going in there and then she's like telling everybody how hot they were. Like if anybody went into the chat and was female, she's like, oh my god, you're so hot. You're so hot. And then she's like, how do I feel about Suit? I don't like him. He's a jackass. I freaking love Suit. He's like one of my favorite people.
Yeah, that's like a good troll.
He is hysterical. But he's been like riding her ass for like, I don't know, months. He has had videos out about this girl. She's the one who is like, I was too talented to work. I don't know if you remember that one.
No, I don't.
Yeah, she was like, I'm too talented to work. I don't want to work. Plus, I get money from the government. Like this lazy ass.
Actress.
I don't think anybody is too talented to work. I mean, come on.
Usually, if you have a good talent, it can help you at work.
Right? Like, what, you think musicians don't work? Of course they do. Especially ones who are like really successful. They're away from their families. They practice. You know, like, nobody's too talented to work. You always got to work. You got to work at your craft. You got to, go out, book gigs, do a couple shitty gigs for a while. Like, I don't know. She like was an artist. And she drew paintings, and he's like, they look like 3-year-old paintings. They're really bad. So yeah, I guess the saga continues. He just keeps trying to. He keeps making videos about this chick, and it makes her mad. She's like, I hate him. I hate him. I'm like, why are you even feeding him? Don't feed the troll. He's bored at home.
I don't know if I call him a troll, but whatever.
You wouldn't call him a troll?
Jokester.
He's definitely trolling this girl. He thinks it's funny. It's like he's made like 4 videos of this chick, like, at this point.
Huh.
They are all very funny.
Okay, so I'm working on getting to one of the articles I found. We seem to have one person who is mute, and we have one person who hasn't joined yet.
I wonder. Anything good happened this week in the world of news?
Well, there's the Golden Globes going on right now.
Oh, I did that video on the Golden Globes. They're all wearing black because they're idiots.
Yeah. And yay, my computer froze.
Yeah. So I guess they're all wearing black on the red carpet to support victims of sexual harassment. But the color that the charities that support victims of sexual harassment and sexual assault and sexual violence and all that stuff is teal. Domestic violence is purple, and sexual violence is teal. So, like, why wouldn't they just wear teal?
Because they're
doing their own thing, and teal makes people look fat usually.
Yeah.
Teal looks really good on like darker complexion.
But wasn't there a time when wearing like a black dress was considered sexy, or?
Yeah, it's they're elegant. Everybody's got like a little black dress. They're very elegant. I have a little black dress, but I will be creating a video critiquing fashion. So if everybody sends me pictures of the worst fashion that they've seen on the red carpet, I will pick apart whomsoever in the bitchiest fashion possible.
Yeah.
They always wear weird shit. Like Rihanna wore a fucking chlamydia dress. Like if syphilis had a persona.
How do you wear chlamydia?
If syphilis had a persona, that would be it. Like she looked like syphilis. I have a picture. I'll send it to you on the twits. Oh crap! I don't know if I can because I'm not allowed to do any of that shit.
DMs.
Nah, I can't. I'll have to send you a link. Let's see.
The link to the stream.
Can I send you the link to what?
And you can just DM me it.
To the video? Hold on, copy. I did. The one on YouTube? The YouTube link?
Oh.
Oh, crap. Shut up. Cancel. I know, because I was a bad girl and I made a Jew joke. Yeah, I tweeted you the link to you on YouTube to tweet out. And yeah, she definitely wore an STD dress. It seriously looked like syphilis personified. It was disgusting. I can send Carissa the link. I would tweet out the link, but I can't because my Twitter's broken.
Send her.
I'm not allowed. I'm not allowed to make Jew jokes anymore. There's so much Hitler on my account. Like I
sniped before.
I'm always getting sniped for something. Whatever. I sent Twitter a nasty gram about how they're like the new Stormfront.
Okay, so I am probably gonna have to read these off my phone because I can't seem to get them on my computer.
Oh.
If that's okay. So we got U.S. seats urgent surge and women running for office. Characters and Lily Allen. What should we start with? The guest, but we pretty much don't have guests.
Lily Allen spurred, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about that dumb bitch.
Okay. You know what's depressing is oftentimes I would like find something from 1 Million Moms, but so far they're still complaining about the same show.
1 Million Moms. They're so stupid.
They're still complaining about that one teacher show, and and they don't even make new articles for it. They're just reusing it.
Teachers are horrible people. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, once the kids are gone, like, all you want to do is be like, fuck, shit, damn, God, fucking shit, where's the liquor? And everyone's like, that's not how teachers are. And you're like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
Your kids are horrible.
Yeah.
Carissa, that's a herpes cluster shit dress. I think the first time that I saw it, I initially thought herpes, but then I was like, if I was looking at it and it was coming at me, I'd be like, oh God, that's a little syphilis germ.
Okay, so
what's Mr. Wizard?
Let's see, we got Falcon and we got some JT Vega in the chat.
Falcon, FYI, no one cares about your mom. Do you have a funny story to go with that, or are we going to learn more about airplanes? Next.
Wait, what? He didn't. Oh.
Yeah.
Mr. Wizard?
I'm just being salty because I feel like Falcon's like, my mom is sweetness and light and all this other stuff, and she's a teacher, so I know more than you, even though I don't know what you work in because I spent the whole time just talking about myself last time, boring the shit out of people.
Okay, so I found the article. Lily Allen's right. It is white males we need to worry about. So this isn't like something directly from a recent like Spurg. It's just her some Mirror Co UK saying she's right about something.
Nice.
All the statistics show they run the world, and all evidence shows it's not being run very well.
I was watching Dave Chappelle, and I think he said it best. He's like, I was sitting down next to a woman, and she was like, if we had a woman president, this would not be happening. And he's like, what are you talking about? If we had a woman president, there'd be a war every 28 days, followed by a press conference. I'm sorry, guys. I just lost my cool there for a little bit. I was emotional. It's going to be okay. And I was just like, so fucking true. Dave Chappelle is my spirit animal.
Let's see, there's a lot of reasons to dislike Lily Allen. Machni Pache with an ego of Stephen Hawking and fewer personal achievements than Tara Thompson's pet goldfish. Because that's a person.
Goldfish lives matter.
Yeah. Then again, goldfish don't get eaten as much.
Sorry, I'm back.
That was a weird spot to come right back in on. Goldfish don't get eaten a lot.
I make a lot of weird noises. I apologize.
I was like, you came back in a huff, like you had something to say in the middle of that article.
So
to be fair, we're not even in the middle. We're at the beginning.
As per usual. It'll take them all string just to read this one article.
Well, I think I get it. So, but that doesn't mean Allie doesn't. Frickin' A, I pressed the wrong buttons, and I have my mind all over the place. That doesn't mean Lily doesn't serve a social function, and if she's prepared to go into bat against the unpleasant piece of work who is not called Tommy Robinson of the U.S. Defense, the English Defense League, and she is welcome to take her turn at the crease with the rest of us. Okay. Play with Lily Allen, right? Hitsugi.
She sounds familiar.
She's been on. Yeah.
She always like freaks out about stupid crap. She should go back on drugs, basically. She's a pop star.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she's an English
I've never heard of her.
Singer-songwriter. That's because the only reason anybody's heard of Lily Allen is because she has a big mouth and she says the dumbest shit all the time.
So she's a walking joke, basically.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And basically, we're reading an article saying she was right about something. And we haven't even got to what they're saying she's right about. So, in a row that started about whether Turkish nightclub killer was a migrant, he talked about Muslim grooming gangs in places like Rockingham, and she pointed out, I've only ever been sexually assaulted by white males, so I feel slightly biased.
Oh my god.
That's an argument.
Oh my god. Like, wow.
But when two people not everyone loves get into a wreck, it's tempting to wish they both be wiped out by a tiny, accurate meteor strike and get on with your day. Okay, that is oddly.
That's kind of messed up.
But Allie is right. It is white males we need to worry about.
Totes my guts.
Well, let me just remind you that Lily Allen is the same person who said that she wasn't ashamed of taking drugs and she'll have sex with boys her own age, but only go out with older men. So, I mean, this is obviously a paragon of wisdom here, so.
Obviously.
I did that to Reese Witherspoon too. Like, everyone's like, "Oh, we should look up to her because she's such a great example of a strong woman." And I'm like, does anybody remember that police tape of her screaming to the cop, "Do you know my name? Do you know my name? You're about to find out who I am." Like, these people, why does anybody listen to anybody in Hollywood? They are the worst people on the planet. Like, they rape each other, they murder each other, they all do drugs. Like, and everybody's like, "Oh gosh, they're so smart." Like, what the fuck? What?
Yeah. Sorry.
It's easy to get entranced in people you see on the big screen without realizing that that's not how these people are in real life.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, the only qualifications that actors have is that they know how to read. That's literally their only qualification for living.
I guess what makes me mad about Hollywood is that, like, dumb sells. You know, nobody wants a smart person in Hollywood. And if you are a smart person in Hollywood, you're already established and, you know, you actually, you know, have made a name for yourself. So that's the only reason that people care what you have to say. But, like, there's a lot of people who have to dumb themselves down just for the audiences. And it's, I can't stand all the people from Hollywood, all these stupid Keeping Up with the Kardashians and crap like that. Like, who cares, honestly? Besides dumb people.
Some people like to look at an ass.
I have a problem with people who won't listen to people in their field who are experts. For example, soldiers. They won't listen to soldiers as to what's going on.
Well, they won't even listen.
But then they'll turn around. And even if you say, quote unquote, a smart celebrity who's like, "Yeah, I have like a genius level IQ." Bitch, you can read. That's your only life job. You read. Your job is to read. They're like, all of them are totally fucking useless.
And being able to follow someone's directions.
Yeah.
And I would never want to be a celebrity in Hollywood because honestly, they're all messed up and they all have issues. And like, look at all the little Disney starlets. Like, only one person out of the Disney starlets actually is normal. The rest of them pretty much have either gone to jail, have done drugs, or are just insane.
Who's the normal
which one is that?
Like Hilary Duff. Like, she's married, she has a kid, she's fine.
Hilary Duff was giving blowjobs on verandas for cash.
Yeah, but
I mean,
like,
relatively
fine. I mean,
well, I mean, like, what I'm saying is that in comparison to some of the other people that have been Disney starlets, I think she's doing pretty good right now.
I mean, she grew up though. Like,
yeah, that's the thing.
Britney Spears isn't having as hard a time as she was.
Oh yeah.
But I would say on your knees with telescopic lens photographers taking pictures of you giving dudes blowjobs on a veranda is pretty rock bottom.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is that she got herself cleaned up, and some people are still struggling to float to the top, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, everybody does it in their own time, and whatever. I still think she's a weirdo. Plus, she got divorced.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
And her life was like a shit show for that
After
period.
the celebrities match, so I wouldn't know any of this.
She was married to a hockey player, and it was really annoying. Everyone at the hockey games, it was becoming a problem.
Yeah. I don't really follow a lot of these people. I just only knew that, like, whenever it came to scandals, I didn't hear as much about her. That's all. And I'm not saying, like, I'm in love with her or anything. I could give a crap less. Like, if she lives a successful life, then good for you. You're one of the few that actually does.
They're all fucking garbage.
Oh, yeah.
Like, even people who are, like, conservative, they're like, James Woods is so smart. And it's like, yeah, but, I mean, so is Gary Busey. But he also did videos about fucking inner tubes. Like, I mean,
Yeah. Think about, like, the conservatives in Hollywood. It's hard to tell whether they're actually conservative because they believe this stuff or conservative because they know that in today's world that actually gives you more attention. And apparently Chagrin has went to my DeviantArt account.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Everybody...
Like some celebrities that do spout on conservative stuff, I do wonder how serious they are, if they're just using it as a marketing ploy because they know that's going to get them attention.
Well, to be fair, James Woods had a problem after the Clinton administration. He was a Democrat up until they all supported Bill Clinton, and he was like, the guy's a liar.
Well, yeah, but say someone like Joy Villa.
Oh, I think she's full of shit.
Like, that was the first one that comes to mind. Like, I don't know how much she believes her stuff or how much she's just trying to ride off this Trump train.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, it's pretty much you have to be on one political side recently. Like, I mean, as in like the past couple of years, you have to be on one side of the political spectrum or you're wrong or your career's over or you're considered a Nazi or considered this or that. And it's like, oh my God, people. Are you serious?
Like, in that position, it's been shown that public is more likely to, well, at least people who don't buy into this stuff are more likely to support you over other people. And sometimes I notice they do it without looking at the produce. Like, I haven't even listened to Joy Villa's music.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's what I'll say about Joy Villa, and this is what I tweeted when she wore the dress. I was like, this bitch knows how to market. Mm-hmm. And her album went from nobody knowing about it to #1 bestseller on iTunes overnight because people wanted to piss people off. So, like, it was a really good marketing ploy. And, like, now she's trying to keep riding that wave and you know, having people buy her stuff.
It's kind of like
all that. But, I mean, that's all that it is.
Like Red to Black, bitch. Yeah. Just going after something that looks trendy, whether or not you believe it.
Yeah. I mean...
But anyways, as much fun as I like talking about Hollywood, I still have a good portion of this article to go.
Go ahead, hon.
Let's see. It's white men who run the world.
Oh my God.
Yeah, except, you know, in all those African nations and all those Asian nations and...
Yeah, there's more Asian people than there are white people, but, you know, that's cool.
Yeah. And, well, I don't know, would you consider Hispanic a race?
Yes.
Yeah.
Understood that. How is Hispanic a race? Like, a different race than white people?
Because... it's different genetics.
Really? It's just that it came from the same, like, people from Mexico, like Mexico was formed from the same nation as, the same area, like it was still a European colony at some point. That's why I'm confused whether that's considered under a different race or not.
Well, like, it's the same thing as, like, Semitic shouldn't be the same race. And by Semitic, I mean Muslim as well. Because it's different genetics. There are different things and ailments that happen to that group of people. For example, people who are of Ashkenazi Jewish descent tend to have a lot more trouble with digestion, tend to have a lot more musculoskeletal problems, and are immune in some cases to certain diseases and prone to, in certain cases, to other diseases, whereas white Anglo-Saxon types are not necessarily the same. So it kind of works the same for Hispanic. It's just it's a different genetic marker, and that's not to say that any race is better or worse than the other. Everybody has their pitfalls and their
advantages.
Yeah. So I mean, it is what it is. It's just different genetic tags, and for whatever reason, Spanish descent is different than white Anglo-Saxon Europeans. It's just different tribe.
I see. It's just something that always confused me about Mexican.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. Like it's kind of, it falls under anthropology and that kind of stuff, where like just different genetics and how it works, and it's weird, but it's kind of fascinating too.
Well, anyways, it's white men who prosecute crimes, hand down jail sentences, to pay female staff with letters here, and tell lies that keep everyone else blaming each other for the world's problems.
Okay.
White men who prosecute crimes, because there is no black prosecutors.
The problem that I have with that is there are black members of legislation. There are Hispanic members of legislation. There are white members of legislation. There are female members of legislation. Just because the laws haven't necessarily changed as radically doesn't mean that these people aren't also contributing to making new law. They do it all the time. A woman altered Title IX. So it screwed over a lot of people.
Yeah.
And nobody said word one. But just FYI, a bunch of white men wrote Obamacare, which we all love so much. So they only have a problem with it.
Define love.
Right. They only have a problem with it when it's convenient. When it's not convenient, when it's doing something that they want it to do, then all of a sudden we don't have any problems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that annoys me about a lot of SJWs is that, and it's not even all SJWs who do it, it's a lot of people these days, is that they complain about this or that, and they complain and they say, well, we need this and we need that, but they never have any solution to any of these issues that they bring up. And sometimes, what were you going to say?
Well, yeah, and if they do, they're often ideas that don't end up helping the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know. Nobody knows how to properly protest anymore. And I love how whenever things get violent, they're like, oh, but they were peacefully protesting. That's not peacefully protesting. I don't care who you are.
No, Molotov cocktails are peaceful.
Oh, totally.
Because they break into pieces.
Ah, yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So I think a lot of it, like I said, is just really, it's convenience. Because if you look back at centuries and millennia ago, we have something called Hammurabi's Code, which is basically the basis for society, right?
Mm-hmm.
In all likelihood, Hammurabi was not a white male. He was, you know, probably Arabic or Middle Eastern.
It was around that area.
Obviously.
Anyway.
What race that all of them would have been back that far
Right.
ago.
But in all likelihood, based on what we know from the musculoskeletal structure, he was not a white male. That's in all likelihood. Sargon was in all likelihood not a white male.
I don't know. He looks pretty white.
Yeah, well, Carl. But they're these are really the cradle of civilization type people that you're looking at. And a lot of the laws that were written into Hammurabi's Code are still things that we adhere to and values that we keep today.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, civilization was in all likelihood not created by a white male. In fact, in Europe, there were lots of tribes with very few rules, and they would just basically go around raping and killing each other. So
I'm sorry. It's just that I'm looking at my screen and I noticed a notification, but it almost looked like Cog had joined the stream.
Oh no, he's streaming.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like, if you look at it, like, you had the Celts and the Gauls and the Britons and the Saxons and the Anglo-Saxons and the Romans and the Greeks, and I mean, Europe is a hot mess for a very long time. So, like, you had all these different warring factions, and you did in the Middle East as well. But the cradle of civilization, as we credit it today, is that Fertile Crescent type area. And then you started having,
and technically, you want to look at something like Japan has had a history of not getting along with their own Japanese.
Oh God, Japan! Like, the Japanese are assholes, dude. They really are. Like, they hate Okinawans, and the Okinawans hate the mainland Japanese. It's pretty much,
Japan has a suicide culture.
They do,
and that's a problem. So
what really causes it is, I mean, this is pretty much what I picked up, is that,
is it like a high expectation for success?
No, I mean, it's been systemic since, for centuries.
Well, not only that, but I mean, it's mostly just the whole group mentality. Like, you have to be a part of the group. You have to be part of the solution. If you do something wrong, then it affects everybody else, and you're a shame to your family if you commit a crime, or you're a shame to your family if you do this or that. And you're like, it's really, really bad. Like, they
were the original suicide bombers.
Basically, yeah. They are messed up.
Not basically, they got into planes and flew into places.
Well, I'm sure if I looked into it, I'm betting there's probably other people who did that, but...
So, I mean, I don't think anybody ever pointed to Japan and went, that's a good society. I mean,
but
they have a huge systemic problem with that.
They do, yeah.
Well, with the whole kamikaze thing, I think part of that was due to the fact that they kind of perverted the idea of Bushido a little.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'd love to keep going on this talk about Japanese and whatnot, but I would like to keep going.
Keep going.
One of these days, we'll get through a whole article with minimal interruptions.
Read faster and stop commenting in the middle.
No promises. Despite what white males tell you, there are no such thing as Muslim grooming gangs.
What?
I'll read that again. Because despite what white males tell you, there is no such thing as a Muslim grooming gang.
This woman's retarded.
It doesn't say.
Muslim rape gangs. They're talking about grooming gangs, ones who for children.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it happens in gangs. If that's a question, I think it's. I mean, grooming doesn't typically happen in gangs, but I mean, I guess that's semantics.
Yeah.
Apparently, what I've heard is it seems to have been something that's been on the rise in Britain and other places in Europe where that sort of thing happens.
Yeah, typically grooming happens like one-on-one. It's not really like although in instances of cults, it can happen in large groups. But even so, like grooming for pedophilia typically just happens where one person will build up a lot of trust with the child and convince them that it's okay what they're doing. Which is really sad because, you know, that's some place that child felt safe and shouldn't have been violated. That's why the coaches are such a big deal. I mean, that's somebody that you trust in a locker room. You know, you're getting undressed in front of that person. You're trusting them to keep you safe. And when they do something that breaks that trust, that's why you have more of that like psychological break and all the trust issues with a lot of kids who've been violated in that way. I know from my perspective as a female coach in a male-dominated sport, I will not go into the locker room without a male, and I won't go by myself. That's more for my protection than for theirs, because I have no intention of being around a bunch of naked teenage boys that disgust me. But I usually will designate, and like in my sport, we're background checked, and we have to take a certain training. So I'll usually designate a father or an assistant coach, and I'll send the team parent and the assistant coach both into the locker room so that neither one of them is alone either. And then when they let me know that the boys are all dressed, then I'll go in. But it's just not worth the accusation, and it's not worth them feeling uncomfortable for me to go in there. Now, I think that the feminist argument is girls and boys are the same, but that's not really the case. I mean, that's a place where you don't want your female coach if you have to change your underwear. Right. I mean, it's not that the boys don't respect me, they just don't feel comfortable changing in front of me, which I get, because I didn't feel comfortable changing in front of my male coaches either. So for their protection, adults do need to be in the locker room, because, you know, in case somebody has a problem with somebody else on the team and they decide to start fighting each other, you want an adult in there to say like, hey, cut it out. But from my end, I always had designated two adult males to be in a room with my boys while they were changing, just to protect my coach and my parent. And if there wasn't somebody who was able to do that, if there was somebody else in the building who was background check, the rink director, for example, I would ask him to go in just to make sure I had two sets of eyes. You know, as a safety precaution, because you never want to violate somebody's trust when they're vulnerable like that. It's not okay. So typically grooming happens in those like one-on-one situations where you're like spending time after class or spending time after practice with an adult in power who then turns around and like pressures you or convinces you that what's going on is okay and that the feelings that you have are okay. And that's why you start to see so many of those mental breaks and trust issues, which I think sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, like I said, I've never heard of a grooming gang per se. Like just a gang of adults are like, hey, you kids, come over here. Like it's really more of like a personal sort of, which sucks.
Yeah, that's. I don't think it would work if it was a gang. Honestly, I think it'd be kind of a cluster. But I mean, not that I support it, but Jesus.
I think it depends on the level of cultishness going on. Because I mean, there's tons of like suicide cults and orgy cults and all that kind of crap. And it's easy to indoctrinate, but I think for kids it's a lot harder. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm sure it does, but I'm also not saying that they haven't captured children and forced them into those type of situations, because that's happened. But I think to call it a grooming gang is a little disingenuous. Like I don't think that's a thing.
I mean, yeah, I Jesus, I don't know what this woman's spouting off about. A lot of the stuff she's talking about is just straight up like false or
okay. In defense of Lily Allen, it's not her writing the article.
Oh, okay.
It's just someone saying she's right.
Well, still, the person writing the article is misinformed too, so
But anyway, so it doesn't say anywhere in the Quran that believers should get together, drug, threaten, and abuse vulnerable girls. I read the Quran, so I can't really comment on it, but okay. The official punishments in the Quran for rape are much the same as those of the Bible. So, white men don't generally read either book closely.
Yeah, but there's no... Okay, rape in the Bible is kind of weird. On the female side, if a man rapes a woman, he has to take her to wife.
Yeah.
That's, and it's not if she'll have him. It's like, you ruined her, now you have to marry her.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, I don't know where the recourse is for that. And they don't generally, there's not very much provision for that. I mean, if you have sex with someone, then you are married. So it's a kind of difficult thing. It's not like they're like, okay, this is the Bible. You raped her, we're gonna cut your dick off. It's like you have to take care of her now. So so like that's a logical fallacy, right? Like she doesn't really have a choice. This guy did that to her or whatever. And a lot of times, the initial affianced individual would just take off. They'd be like, well, I don't have to marry her anymore because she's damaged goods. So, I mean, if we start like quoting the Bible, like, let's understand that.
It seems Chagrin might have more knowledge on this sort of thing than I do. Anyone want to send her a link, maybe, or because it seems like the other person is taking a bit to come in.
Yeah, I can.
So, Chagrin, do you want to? You're not in a position to stream.
Well, I'll send her the link anyway. I mean, but like, the Bible is a complicated text.
It really is. Well, excuse me. Sorry.
It's not like it's going out there and advocating for rape. It's not like go rape someone because then you get a wife. it's a punishment.
Yeah.
Like now you're stuck with her, so you have to pay her dowry, and you don't inherit any of the things that she would inherit. But like a female was property. A female wasn't. So when you're like strong, staunch, feminist.
And straight.
No, well, I sent her the link if she feels like, if she wants to. If not, then that's cool too.
Yeah, my thing about the Bible is that, like, you know, honestly, a lot of the stuff that was written in there is kind of outdated right now. And whenever the Bible's read in churches, they don't read about like the rape part or anything like that. They read about the stories that are supposed to be like, this is how it started. This is a life lesson for you. And that's pretty much the only thing that they cover whenever it comes to church. So, you know, it's really up for your own interpretation if you want to read the Bible and just say, oh, should we follow this? Should we follow? I don't know. I don't have the answers, but a lot of it is definitely outdated.
I think it's an antiquated text, especially like as a Jew. Like I'm not a big circumcision advocate. I think you should leave baby dicks alone. That's just me. But I understand why at the time it was a necessary practice, and the reason for that is hygiene wasn't as good. So it's the same thing as like bathing after menstruation, right? Like you're supposed to take a ritual bath after you menstruate. You're supposed to take a ritual bath after you give birth. And the reason for that is because a lot of women especially women who gave birth, were dying of sepsis or peritonitis. And, a lot of women on their period were unclean and were having all kinds of bacterial issues and whatever. So taking the bath was hygienic, cleaned out. Now we bathe pretty much every day. There's really no point. It's very, very rare in Western society for a woman to die of sepsis after birth. Hospitals are pretty clean. Even birthing pools. I mean, just there's been so many advancements in hygiene that it's almost unnecessary.
Oh, yeah.
Circumcision is the same way. I mean, you were starting to see a lot of bacteria and other things get caught under the foreskin. Our hygiene wasn't as great. So things were happening that were causing diseases and early death. Well, if you're starting a new society or civilization, obviously you want to give yourself the best chance. Best chance was cut off the foreskin, then you can easier clean the penis, keep everything functioning and on the up and up, live a longer life, etc., etc. And it just had to do with the fact that soap wasn't that good. So like today, like we obviously have antibacterial soap. We know what we know about hygiene. There's really no reason for circumcision. There's really no reason for a ritual cleansing after giving birth, because we're not going to, shove like, bird testicles up there to try to help ease the pain, right? Like it just isn't something that we do anymore, because we're like, placing a turkey gizzard in your vagina is disgusting and that will cause problems.
Infection. Yeah.
So so I mean, there's a lot in the Bible that's very antiquated, but there's a lot that secured, a people and helped them to survive. There was a reason that there were less Jews dying of bubonic plague, because of their hand washing rituals. They wash their hands all day, every day, because before you do this, you wash your hands. Before you do that, you wash your hands. Before this, well, now we do it anyway, so there's really no reason to al nitilat yadayim, because it doesn't make any sense. You already wash. So there's no reason to stop and have ritualistic hand washing, because you already do it.
Right.
So like, I think the Bible's fantastic. And I think if you want to believe and you want to have religion and faith and all of that, that's fantastic. Yeah. It's not particularly for me, but I'm definitely not going to knock it. And a lot of it, like I said, is just, it's antiquated. Why don't we eat pork and shellfish? Because people who are eating pork and shellfish were dying. Right. So we just don't eat it. Why don't we touch people with leprosy? Because people who touch people with leprosy were dying. So we don't do it. Yeah. I mean, it's simple things like that. Like that it's like, now we know how to handle those situations. So there's no reason if somebody has a rash to be like, get out, go to the edge of society and don't come back. So I mean, there's lots in the Bible that needs to be tossed, and there's lots in the Bible that makes a lot of sense or is a little bit helpful.
Yeah, and
And just
I'm
a heads up, I got tired of that article.
Okay.
Too serious.
Okay. I wouldn't say that I'm like hardcore Christian. I do believe in some things that are, that are preached in the Bible and in the Christian faith and stuff like that. And I guess you can say I'm more of I'm Christian, but I guess I'm more open-minded about, like, is it a possibility that God doesn't exist? Maybe, but I'd like to believe that there is somebody up there. It's one of those things. So it's just my personal belief. Not everybody has to believe me, but I'll respect anybody who doesn't believe in what I believe in. As long as you're not a douche about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, why am I echoing?
No idea.
Myself coming back. Oh well. Okay, so the other article that was interesting going over is something from Vice. All the cartoon characters from my childhood were queer. And
What?
it blew my mind.
All the cartoon characters from his childhood?
Yep. We're queer.
Were queer? Oh my God. Like even the ones that weren't?
I don't know. We will have to look through this thing.
I kind of want to comment real quick on something about, like, gay. Okay, so there's some people who are like, oh, the Japanese are so advanced when it comes to gay people. They're so open when it comes to gay people. No, they're not. Like, they have all those, like, gay manga or whatever, not to actually support the gay community, but it's fetishizing it. It's not actually supporting it, and there's a difference in between those two. Oh my God.
Is there a difference between supporting and fetishizing?
Well, like, you get off to the idea of them.
Depends how you do it.
Like, they don't really acknowledge people who are gay, honestly. And really the only time that they ever have anything to do with gay relationships is to, oh, hey, this is totally hot, I'm going to read this. That's basically the only time that they ever acknowledge gay relationships is, oh, this is hot. They don't actually give them any rights, or they can't. Pretty much, if you're gay, you kind of have to hide your relationship in Japan. I mean, they're starting to be more open about it in the Tokyo area, but it's still kind of.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
because to me, like accepting a fetish is like accepting,
right?
Like being like having. But I understand what you're saying, and that makes a lot of sense. Thanks.
Yeah. But anyway.
Excuse me.
As an 8-year-old in suburban Michigan, I watched Lindsay Lohan creep across a dock and jump into the pond naked. The moment I had what I now recognize as an early sexual awakening. Okay. All right. When her character Annie went skinny deep after losing a bet, it scandalized me, awakening queer feelings that I didn't quite understand at the time. I don't understand it at that exact moment. The exact moment I knew I wasn't straight, but I remember every single childhood character that made me question it. Okay. Growing up in the late 90s and early 2000s. I knew none of the characters I harbored flustered crushes on were actually gay in fiction or in real life. In fact, I don't remember a single representation of queer women in pop culture from my childhood, and I didn't meet a lesbian in person until I was 18. This was likely contributed to a lot of secret fan fiction I wrote as well as unnecessarily years in the closet. Well, if we find your fan fiction, we'll probably read it, knowing us.
Oh, please. We gotta research this now and see if we can find it.
Okay, Sugi, her name apparently is Carrie Paul. Go on it.
Wow. Okay. This person is stretching it.
The average age children realize they are something other than straight is 12 years old, according to the Research Center. By Shaggy. Chagrin is gotta go feed the babies.
It's just to feed the kids.
Yep. But anyways, and the average age they come out now is. This is an improvement from the 1980s, where the average age of coming out was 21. All right. Gay children are more likely to have seen queer people on television with gay relationships in mainstream sitcoms like Modern Family and cartoons like Nickelodeon's Loud House. All right. According to the 2017 report from LAAD, no idea what that stands for. 4.8% of series regular characters on broadcast scripted prime time the coming year identified as gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender, and queer, the largest percentage ever. Yeah, that's something I noticed last year and the year before that.
Yeah, they're trying to include more people, which is it's both a good and a bad thing. It's a bad thing because they tend to like not really write the character as like, oh hey, this is a character. They kind of use their sexuality or diversity as an identity, and it's not really
doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not good writing at all.
Interesting because it's getting new things out there. And honestly, at this point, it's hard to know how many of it is just like this is how they wanted characters, or if it's something where they're just doing it to...
Right. And I don't know. I mean, if you want to make a gay character, make a gay character, but like don't just make that all about what they're about. Write the character and worry about some of the other stuff later, you know. At least that's my opinion on it.
People, let's see, approval of the LGBTQ community is on the rise too. Q in the LGBTQ stands for queer. I thought that was what gay and lesbian were supposed to be, though.
No, it's different. It's like the ones that are like Milo Stewart and that. Like they're like the weird like queers are like the weird ones. I don't know. Someone's gonna call me homophobic now.
Well, you know,
they're like they didn't used to be, but they are. They are now.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's weird. Like, why add another letter? and then another.
I have a
and then
poem.
I wondered when these were coming.
I was looking for a good one. This one is called Plastic Deviant Dicks.
Oh my god.
I asked her tonight to make me feel whole again, and she knew what I meant. She knew I meant without men. She could give me a piece of the emptiness I felt in the soft texture of plastic harnessed onto a belt. Whilst it doesn't pulsate and it smells like latex, burning rubber inside me, it almost feels like sex. She can fuck me from behind. This inanimate object stays hard. We never have dysfunctional issues, except with those in the churchyard. Apparently it's a sin, but it's shaped like a real dick. Surely we can waive this one, and you can stop calling us sick. Because technically I'm getting fucked, but I can just grab tits at the same time. What upsets you the most? It's not like we're committing a crime. Would you feel better if you could watch? Maybe say some prayers while in motion, stone us while we're making love, belittle our solid devotion. It would probably turn us on to see someone feeling so acutely disturbed by all the voices in their head while we remain so unperturbed. That's the nature of being disgusting. We revel in your alarm. Nothing viable about these reprobates. Only out to cause us psychological harm. I'll remember this while she's fucking me. We will always be deviants in your eyes. We will never be welcome in your values. But your values are all fucking lies.
All right. Oh my god.
Oh, can I continue? Or?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta refine my spot. Approval of the LGBTQ community is on the rise too. The percentage of people who supported marriage equality in the 2000s, and now it's at 62%. Which, okay. So it gets better, but still, Babadook? Babadook?
Okay, so Babadook is a Swedish horror film, and it was on Netflix. And so it kind of became a meme when Netflix accidentally labeled Babadook as an LGBT film. So people in the gay community, or LGBT community, however you want to put it, started calling the Babadook a gay pride like symbol, and it's kind of amusing in that regard, but at the same time they kind of ruined the joke after like the 5th time that they told it.
Okay. But anyways, becoming the de facto queer icon during Pride and Disney's first gay character emerging from the son's sidekick in The Beauty of the Beast, the new one.
Oh yeah, LeFou, yeah. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, we are still grasping for queer representation in media. There are some femi characters that I know of that were absolutely queer when I first became acquainted with them as a kid. Okay, so this is nothing set in stone. This is just what they say. Let's see.
Yeah, basically. Grade A journalism, right?
So apparently Pocahontas and Nakomi.
That's her like best friend in the movie or whatever.
Yeah. Just forgot how to pronounce her name, that's all.
Ah, I gotcha.
My earliest and longest lasting gay crush from childhood came from my first viewing of Disney's Pocahontas. Which, if I remember right, is not their most popular movie. So, I don't know, that's just a side note. But,
yeah.
Feelings for Pocahontas didn't start when the Native American princess, when she took a dip off the waterfall with her hot friend Nakomi.
Okay, why can't chicks have friends without being lesbians? Like, that's so ridiculous. I have tons of friends who I made out with and touched their boobs and didn't become a lesbian.
Yep, you're just bi.
There you go.
I mean, I don't even. Vaginas scare the crap out of me. I have a severe fear of going down on a woman. I feel like it'll end up being like a big tentacle nightmare.
But you like tentacles.
I like getting fucked by tentacles. I don't like getting grabbed and having the breath sucked out of me by tentacles. Have you ever seen, there's a Discovery Channel where like they're talking about how dangerous it is to be a diver in the ocean, and an octopus comes up and like grabs the diver's mask, and the diver's like trying to pry the octopus off, and he's like sucking the oxygen mask off, and the diver's like, whoa, and you see all these bubbles are going everywhere. That's what I imagine going down on a chick is like. I would look at that and I just imagine it would be like, and I'd be like, no!
Which is
So
exactly why she
chick.
doesn't seem stupid.
But I have dildo fucked a chick. I just, I don't go down on them. And it brings me no pleasure.
Yeah.
But, you know, you don't know until you try it, and, you know.
Oh, wow.
I always played sports, so I just assumed I was gay anyways. And then I was like, this does not feel good.
This is no bueno.
And then, you know, and then I found dudes, and I was like, what's that between your legs? And they're like, this is my dick. And I'm like, put that in me.
I want to try it out.
And addicted.
This went to a strange place.
It always does.
I'm just saying, like, you know, when you grow up and you have girlfriends and stuff, but sometimes, you know, you don't want to be like shitty at making out, and you have to compare your boobs to make sure that your boobs are normal. Like, you don't, you know, like, you want to make sure your tits aren't floppy and shit. So, like, I don't know.
All right.
You get naked and feel each other up, and
women.
I mean, that's what I used to do when we'd get drunk and sleep over each other's houses, and everybody saw everybody else's tits, and we all made out and gave each other, you know, critiques like too much tongue, your mouth is too wet, your teeth were too involved, you know, so that you get good at it. So that when you go to make out with your boyfriend, you're not like, you know, a slobbery horse face mess.
All right. In my fantasy version of the movie, they ship John Smith back to Europe and live happily ever after with their lesbian advisor girl.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
What?
I don't know. I don't want to know. Kim Possible and Shigo.
Oh my god.
That makes at least a little more sense.
It's that angry, like, yeah, I guess I could see it, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not as weird, but yeah.
Yeah. It is impossible. I see what you did there. That Kim Possible and her nemesis, Shigo, were not secretly fucking.
I thought that Kim Possible was together with that naked mole rat.
Yeah, the guy who owns
she
it,
does.
yeah.
She does seem like a lesbian, though. Like, to be fair,
she does, honestly.
Same otherwise.
So does Daria.
But
I don't know if anybody remembers the show
I
Daria.
remember Daria.
She seemed gay.
Yeah, honestly, she kind of did.
The show, throughout the show, the sexual tension between the teenage crime fighter and her nemesis is palpable. Also, Shigo got her powers after being hit by a rainbow comet. Need I say more?
Yeah, you gotta include the rainbow bit.
You know, it's been years since I watched it, but I don't know. Okay, Debbie Thornberry.
Oh my god, no, she's not.
with her flannel pathetic effect and cargo pants, Debbie is the original queer hipster? Alright.
She's not even
This-
gay. Like,
Didn't she like date a lot of dudes in the show? I don't remember
crushed-
exactly.
yeah, she crushed on a lot of guys too. Like, it was pretty obvious she was not gay.
This person just doesn't know what grunge music is because they probably spent their entire life listening to like Instinct and the Backyard Boys and 100 Degrees or whatever the fuck those dudes.
Yeah.
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 Like would definitely be spotted at your neighborhood lesbian bar drinking a PRB and rolling her eye at the queer scene while still participating.
Does
in
it really say PRB?
PBR, sorry.
Okay. I was like, no fucking way. Yeah, I mean, but that's like something that grungy chicks did. Like,
Right.
because, I mean, that's how I was when I was growing up, and I was into grunge music. And as we just heard, vaginas scare me. And I still wear flannels.
Yeah, flannels
But
are
I mean, I'm a big Kurt Cobain fan. I'm a big Dave Grohl. You know, those guys. Chris Novoselic. I don't know, Nirvana. I'm a big Butthole Surfers fan also. So I mean, like, I don't know. I listened to a lot of grunge and classic rock, and ripped jeans and flannels were kind of the staple. You know, I wore a lot of weird clothes growing up, and you know, I was just part of the culture.
Mhm.
And a lot of my
Let's
friends
see,
wore like that teeny bopper shit and velour pantsuits, which, ugh. And they're like, "Oh my God, Britney Spears," and I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here, Metallica." So I mean, you know, I don't know. I think it just depends on what your personal style is. I don't think lesbians have cornered the market on flannels.
Macy
Birkenstocks, yeah,
Littlefoot?
but flannels.
Yeah.
I don't remember a Macy Littlefoot. A Lightfoot.
What?
Let's see, Macy's green hair and cube glasses make her pretty fucking queer.
What
Queer.
What?
show was she in?
You're out.
What?
I don't recognize it. It's just that I can't put my tongue on it.
I don't know.
Macy Lightfoot?
Yes.
As Told by Ginger? I don't know, I didn't watch it.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. What? She wasn't. Oh my God. She was socially awkward. She wasn't even like a lesbian. She just. Oh my God, guys.
and I'm not sure if this is like her trying to rewrite how the shows were, or if this is her trying to fantasies.
She
Which
does
is-
look pretty
I
gay.
don't know. Yeah, she kind of does, but like. Anyway,
She's got
I
the
think that-
Birkenstocks
yeah,
going on.
but I think she just
Okay, let's.
is saying like, oh, this stuff
Fantasy.
makes them like seem like that they were gay or something like that, and it's like this is all like petty and shallow stuff. What are you talking about?
Apparently, Francine from Arthur is gay.
I could see that honestly.
I don't know who that is. I didn't watch that one. I watched cool cartoons.
It's kind of like one of those shows. Like if you look back at it, you actually see it's a lot more clever than what you may have thought. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
And here is somebody's fan fiction image of apparently Francine and Arthur together.
But
She's pregnant.
Oh, gross.
that's how it goes. Every fanfic on YouTube ends with someone being pregnant.
That's a shame.
Have you seen the Spider-Man Elsa stuff?
I
No.
want to see it again.
Spider-Man Elsa pregnancy, whatever.
Yeah, this has got a
I
lot of
did
themes
see
of
Batman. I think it was Batman and Shrek was pregnant.
Oh my god, why?
Yeah. Yep. That gives a new meaning to weird ships. But anyways, let's see, Nega Boulevards. Yeah, that's a name. I always had an inkling that Lasagna. Let's see if I can recognize it. Oh, it's from Penny Proud.
Mm.
Or that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't watch that one either.
But apparently, when I Googled it to see if I'm the only one who got gay vibes. I came about an alarming amount of fan fiction and art portraying relationships between Penny and Sheila that I will not link here because they are 15 in the show. Get it together, y'all.
Oh
But I'll say my 9-year-old hearted more quickly whenever she came on the screen. 8. Well, obviously, he had no issue looking this stuff up.
Yeah.
I don't know. I watched Gargoyles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Gargoyles was the shit. Did you know that was Disney?
Yeah, I know it was Disney.
Yeah.
Sometimes Disney comes out with some like great stuff every once in a while.
You wouldn't expect to
dark
come
as
from
fuck.
Disney.
Oh, I know it was dark. Well, I mean, look at the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Disney
Like,
had,
Yeah, but they
Really?
made that so gay.
they did dumb it down a little bit, but
The Hunchback of Notre Dame. That was Happy Feet was worse than that.
like, I do like the music of the movie though. Like, Hellfire is still one of the best songs ever. Just, basically, I have a boner for you, and I'm going to burn down all of Paris because you pay attention to me.
Yeah.
The whole theme of the song.
Let's see. We got Adult Spinel from. Or not Rugrats. Sorry, got my shows mixed up. Remember her? So okay. Someone from that Rocket Power cartoon.
Oh yeah, I hated that show.
Oh, and apparently they don't list anymore.
I don't know. I didn't know half those cartoons. I think I'm too old for this conversation.
Maybe. I grew up with this stuff, but it's some of the older stuff too. But yeah, this person was definitely younger, probably my age when she saw some of this stuff. But
Although
younger.
she's probably not.
Yeah. Sorry.
She's probably putting things in there that don't really exist.
And she's really trying to stretch and pull things there that's not there, and it's like, oh my god, stop. They're not gay, get over it.
Well, Allie did put a link in the side chat.
Oh yeah, for Holocaust ice capades. It's only funny if you can see it though.
Oh, okay. And maybe that's something where I should wait until I have the ability to use something like OBS or whatnot.
Yeah.
What's else? Something that happened. Well, apparently, someone named Connie Britton,
Friday Night Lights.
Okay, wears "Poverty is Sexist" sweater at the Golden Globes.
Okay. Okay, what does the sweater say?
see. It's on Fox News. Let's see. Golden Globes, red carpet.
Says poverty is sexist.
Yeah, because you're not. Well, it technically is. More men are affected than women.
Yeah, it is.
Or they're looking at
More
it.
suicide rates in men than there are women too. Just saying.
I mean, I'm not an MRA or anything, but
No, neither am I. I just think that there are a lot of issues that men go through that a lot of people kind of ignore, you know?
yeah. I mean, sometimes I think men are MRAs look at things with too much of a black and white perspective.
A lot of people do. I mean, when you're on one side of the spectrum of like a lot of issues, you tend to kind of not look at the other side and say, "Hey, you kind of make a good point." And that's kind of the problem, is that a lot of people don't look at the other side and say, "I agree with this," or "I disagree with that." On
Well,
their
it's not even that necessarily. Like, I think I may have in a past stream. I don't remember entirely, but one issue I have with MRAs is the fact that they like to treat like girl are the most common cases of false rape accusations. You know, when like one case, like cases like say a woman does get raped and it's a rape, just seem to be somewhat more likely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the tricky thing, is that I hate false rape more than anything, but at the same time, if you have been raped, you should report it if you can. Like it is a tricky thing, you know. And I'm disgusted with people who do false rape accusations, and I'm also disgusted with people who are like, "Oh, well, they're probably making it up." I think I don't know. If there's some way for the court system to come up with a better way of being able to dictate, hey, this is false and this is true, and it's one of those things, you know.
Well, that's why we have trials.
Right. That's what I mean. But they usually side with the woman, even though maybe the guy was innocent. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and then like it's still like you don't hear many people in the community bringing up cases like that where a woman does get raped but accuses the wrong man. I'm not very like forward with when a woman does falsely accuse, because purposeful act all the time, or where they were actually raped. And yet it comes down to, well, you don't want them to get... I don't know, it's just too complicated when you throw another factor into the mix.
Right.
Actually, like if... And I'm referring more to when they are like accidental, you know, but...
I know. It's not an easy topic, that's for sure. It's definitely...
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the court system works pretty well in that respect, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
It does.
I think what you're talking about is the court of public opinion, which tends to take the side of rapists. Now, granted, with the advent of DNA, there has been a lot of instances of things getting overturned, but the convictions were based on the preponderance of the evidence, which is as good as you could get without DNA. With DNA, now you have that beyond a reasonable doubt. I will say this, I do follow the Daniel Holtzclaw case very closely, and I think that cop was railroaded. I think that an innocent man is sentenced to 263 years in jail, and I think the reason is that Black Lives Matter was protesting outside the courtroom, and they were not removed by the judge, and I think that was an oversight.
Hmm.
I think the jurors felt in fear for their lives if they didn't convict him. And you can see that based on the charges and what they picked out and what they didn't.
Right.
With no
Yeah.
DNA entered into evidence. The department has actually done some things that are fairly shady. They had a secret council meeting where the defense was not allowed to be present, and he has an appeal pending, where they discussed some of the ways that the DNA was fucked up and some of the things that weren't tested. So I do think in some instances you do have that situation where people are railroaded, and I think there are corrupt systems. But on the whole and the overarching, you're never going to walk into a courthouse, or very rarely going to walk into a courthouse and the judge is going to say, I believe you.
No, I agree.
So,
I do.
I think that's a fallacy, and I think that's a crappy argument. I also think it's a crappy argument for not going to court, because nobody's going to believe me if I tell. I think a lot of it. First of all, we don't live in a rape culture.
No, I
There
agree.
is no rape culture here, because anybody you talk to about rape is immediately disgusted. In addition to the fact that we don't tolerate it as a society. And even in prisons, they don't tolerate it. I mean, murderers are given more leeway and are given more respect by prisoners than rapists. There's a reason for that. Rape is disgusting. So you have these people standing up and, oh, no one's going to believe me, no one's going to believe me. No, you were threatened. You chose to keep your mouth shut. You have to live with the consequences of that decision. The people in Hollywood who are speaking out now, who are like, yes, I was sexually assaulted, they were all complicit because they wanted a job, because they wanted whatever. When Kesha came out with her story, the entirety of Hollywood was like, this never happens. This is horrible. I can't believe somebody would say that.
Harvey Weinstein a few years later.
Because they're complicit, because they needed something. So, I mean, that kind of crap and that kind of narrative is just ridiculous. I think there's too much of the feminist movement that says the responsibility is on the man not to rape. Not on the woman to tell the truth, not on the woman to take self-defense courses, not on the woman to report it. Those are all her responsibility. And
but
they just refuse to put the responsibility on women. The responsibility is on men not to rape. Majority of men are not rapists. They will never rape someone. They don't want to, right?
Yeah.
Vulcan has gone his whole life and will probably go his whole life without raping a woman. So why am I going to tell him he's a bad person?
Probably go my whole life without having sex, but that's a different issue.
Please, you.
You're a cutie. Come on.
But why am I gonna say like he's an awful person because he might have had a thought of raping someone, which isn't even true. Yeah. Like you can't ascribe somebody guilt to their thoughts. And how do you know what he's thinking?
Right.
I'm pretty positive that Vulcan wasn't like, oh gosh, I should rape that chick, but jail time. Like, I mean, that's ridiculous.
Just, like, sitting there next to you, just going like, "Hey, I should rape that chick," and just like, "What the fuck?"
But I mean, this is how these people think, and they don't ascribe any responsibility to the people they should be ascribing responsibility to.
No,
if something happens to you, you have a responsibility to report it. If you didn't report it, then you can't complain about it.
Right.
I mean, you can't turn around and be like Lena Dunham and write a book and a memoir and be like, nobody believed me and I didn't report it because nobody would believe me. Fuck that. You don't have a brain? You don't have the ability? I didn't report my rape because I was scared.
Yeah, same with
Because
me. And
he told me that if I reported it, he'd kill me,
mhm.
right? So I didn't say anything.
And
But whose responsibility is that? Is that his responsibility or is that my responsibility? It's my responsibility.
right, right.
I
I didn't.
chose not to.
Yeah, I didn't report mine either, and I can't do anything about it now. It happened. The only thing I can do is get therapy and help myself get better, and I can't. So it's one of those things, you know. But if you have the chance to do it, if you have the chance to get it reported, then report it. You know,
I
definitely.
agree. But by the same token, I don't think that you get drunk
Mm-hmm.
and you go home with somebody voluntarily, black out, and you wake up and you're like, oh shit, we had sex. I don't think that's a rape.
No, you kind of made the choice to drink and get that drunk, and yeah.
Well, I think that's a controversial opinion because people are like, he should know better.
Well, he's probably drunk.
Okay.
I don't think they would say the same thing if a man was drunk in that case.
No.
Both
And
of them are drunk off their ass. Is it still rape or is it just drunk night? Like they always assume that it's
according to feminists, it's always the man taking advantage. But here's the thing. As a young woman, if you're responsible, one, you don't get blackout drunk. Two, you don't go home with strangers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so where's the responsibility there? Like, you're not responsible for your drinking habits. You're not responsible for your choices that you make. I mean, come on, you're an adult. You're a young adult.
Right.
You made a choice. It was a poor choice. And if that led to you having sex, how am I to know that that woman didn't throw herself at that man?
Right.
And start taking her clothes off. She blacked out. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah.
How am I going to be like, oh yeah, he definitely raped her? Now, if he gave her a roofie, right? Here's your roofie colada, that's different.
Yeah. All right.
That is taking advantage of somebody. That is a specific intent to drug and rape someone. But if you're at a party, you're at a frat or a sorority party or whatever, and you get drunk, you see a cute guy, you're like, let's go home. That's on you. And like I said, I understand that's a controversial opinion, but how am I to know that, one, he wasn't also impaired, two, that you didn't come on to him, you voluntarily left with this person. You voluntarily went to their house. You ended up naked. Do I know when you passed out? I don't.
No.
And if he tells me, no, she wanted it, and you're like, I didn't want it, but I can't remember. I mean, it's your responsibility to A, know your limits, and B, if you don't know and you can't handle yourself, designate somebody to get you home safe.
Yeah, get your sober friend.
You can't just leave with people and then, shit happens and like, he should have known better because I was drunk. Well, what about his mental state? Was he sober? And I'm not saying that men get drunk and they rape women. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, two people are drunk. They're attracted to each other. They go back to a room. There's a specific intent there. You're not going back to somebody's room drunk and horny and, having made out at the party all night to sit there and play video games or Netflix and chill. You know what you're there for.
The whole thing is like, do they think that women can't handle their own alcohol? Like, do they think women are incapable of something?
They want chivalry, but they don't want it because they should be able to open their own doors and pay for their own stuff. But they don't want to pay for their own stuff and they don't want to open their own doors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how dare you assume that you should open the door for me? But at the same time, like, I can't believe he didn't open the door for me. Come on.
Yeah.
You leave a party drunk and horny with a specific intent to go to somebody's apartment. You're not going there to sleep it off. You're going there to fuck them. Like, take some responsibility for yourself. If you know you can't handle your alcohol or you're not sure, make sure somebody's watching you and says, hey, that's a bad idea. Let's go home. You're not okay. Or says to the other person, like, hey, they're not okay. This isn't okay. Because the person who's a total stranger or your random hookup isn't going to know you. And if you're throwing yourself at them, they're going to say green light. And just being like, oh, if she's drunk, she can't consent. That's bullshit. Because how do you know? I've been plenty drunk and consented to things.
Yeah.
But I know my limit. Like, I know the point where I'm like, past the point of no return. I am not going to remember a single fucking thing from this point. And I usually have a friend there or someone I trust to be like, okay, time to go home. You know, like, it's called being responsible. And as an adult, you have to be responsible. As a woman, you can't be like, I'm strong and powerful, and then be like, I'm so meek, and I didn't know what to do. Come on. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
I don't buy that shit.
Yeah. I know. I agree. Like, you chose to drink. You chose to, like, even if you don't remember it, you did consent to it. You know.
Right.
So
it's not on the other person to tell you how you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not on the guy to be like, oh, I don't know, you might be a little too drunk. Right. Because what happens then is drunks get belligerent and abusive. Mm-hmm. So, like, I mean, maybe he gets assaulted. Then if you get arrested for assault, are you completely exonerated because you were drunk? No, of course you're not. Yeah. So what's the difference? I don't see, if you can be held responsible for driving while you're blackout drunk, you can be held responsible for assault when you're blackout drunk. You can be held accountable for your other decisions. As crappy as they might be, and as shitty as you might feel about that decision, that was a decision you chose to make while you were impaired. It was not a responsible one.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I had something in my head that I wanted to add to that, but I think I lost it.
Well, he just went with it and rolled with it.
Yeah.
No rape prevention laws? Question mark. What?
Rape, but I think asking as if feminists don't think there are any. Wait, how do you actually have a law that prevents things from happening?
Well, I mean, laws should prevent things from happening because there are consequences attached to them, but, like, don't rape because you're going to end up in jail.
Well,
don't steal things because you're going to end up in jail. But, like, you can't be like, you thought about rape, locking you up. Like,
right.
I don't know.
Plot police.
Well, that's what
You thought about having sex with that girl, and you had a dream about it, and she didn't specifically consent or sign the waiver.
Yeah,
go to jail.
In that dream.
Like, you had a sex dream about a woman without her consent.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, I don't.
You stared at this woman for too many seconds.
Oh my god, some guy I was shopping today, and I was just like, wandering around because I got a flu shot, so I was like, let me see, because sometimes I get lightheaded and I need, to eat something afterward. So I was like, let me see how I feel before I get in the car. So I was just wandering around, and this guy was like so far, like so close behind me, looking at my ass. Mm-hmm. Like when I went to back up and I almost tripped over his cart, and then I looked up and he was like, "Oh, sorry." And I was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, and I was like, were you watching me walk? And he was like, I no. And I was like, okay, it's okay. I just not so close. Like, he was like, oh. I was like, what the fuck? Like, he was like so close, and like you know, like the sight line was where it was when I spun around because I was disoriented because I like bumped into his cart.
Mhm.
And the look on his face was like the most guilty look. And I was just like, I don't care. Just do
Back
it a
up
little
next time.
further back.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't know you were going to back up. But I was like, I didn't know I was going to back up. But I also didn't know how to, you know, a
Dude,
caboose conductor back there. Sorry.
back it up. Back it up. Yeah.
I mean, like people are gonna look and like, I don't know. I was wearing yoga pants, so I'm sure that it was just, you know, like
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
maybe he was
Yeah.
just checking for panty lines or something. But like, I don't know, maybe my ass looked fat or weird or misshapen. I don't know. But like, what I do know is,
Possible.
Maybe all of it. Maybe everything
Yeah.
that you just labeled.
there was definitely butt stalking, and I was just like, oh shit.
That sounds like a new sport. Yeah, you
I
want to go
felt bad. I felt bad because he like looked so guilty, like he was gonna get in trouble or something. And like I wasn't mad. I was just like, geez, it's a little close.
Yeah, back it off, buddy. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's it reminds me of this time. It's not really. It's kind of related, but it's about a video game. But I was playing this game in break room one time, and it's like one of the most fan servicey games ever. And I like it for the story and the characters, and I think the fan service is hilarious. And there was this guy that I used to work with who's like really shy, and I was one of the few people he actually talked to. And he was sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, what you doing?" I'm like, "I'm playing this game," and and I said, "I'm really into it for the plot and the story. It's really fan servicey, all the stuff I just told you." And he's like, "Oh, okay, that's cool." And he's just watching really intensely. And he's like, "I'm watching it for the gameplay. I'm not watching it for the poops." I'm like, "I'm playing the game, dude. I really don't care if you are or not." If I was offended, I wouldn't be playing this game, dude. Okay, you're good. Oh my god, poor guy. Yeah,
I think men always feel like they need to apologize for shit like that, and it's
For being
sad
pervy.
for being dudes. Like men are very visual creatures,
Mhm.
and they like to look at things. I mean, even internal workings of a computer. They like to look at them and figure them out. And that's just part of their hardwired biology. Like, it's really not that big of a deal. But women react like they are the worst people on the planet. And then they'll turn around and read those fucking Cosmopolitan magazines about, how to give a man a proper blowjob. And it's like, you're just doing the same thing, but you're reading an article instead of, like, I don't know, like, it's just, you'll read romance novels which have some of the most disgusting smut I've ever read, and then they're like, men are such perverts, and they're like, her heaving bosom shuddered as he thrust his hard, throbbing erection deep inside of her folds. And you're like, what the fuck? They're just looking at a butt. Like, they're like, that looks nice, I'm gonna look at it. And you're reading this fucking smut. Like,
50
okay.
Shades of Grey, like on the fucking public transport, and it's like, what are you doing? That's gross.
I mean, I don't care. Do what you gotta do, but like, this, don't turn around and be like, he's a total pervert for staring at some tits and ass, and you're sitting there reading about throbbing breasts and moist erections and folds, and everybody's heaving and shit. He shuddered as he came, and I could feel myself contracting around him. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Ew. I don't want to read that. I don't want to know. I know what happens when you have sex. I don't need to read it in glorious detail. That to me is disgusting. Like, opposed to somebody going, "Oh, there's a nice pair of tits over there." Like, fuck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Protracted sex articles.
Protracted sex articles. That's a fun word to say. I like that. Yeah. I'm like still half asleep, so like my brain is like half working right now. So don't mind my
Yeah.
weird stuff.
Well, I think who is it? Worski and Bering are they're streaming now. Jason's gonna stream later. Hitsu,
Yeah.
do you follow suit yourself at all?
Like I kind of used to watch his stuff. I kind of just fell off of like the whole skeptic thing until recently, so I need to start watching his stuff again.
He was busy harassing. I was just wondering if anybody else saw that. He was busy harassing Monty Riot today.
Yeah, you mentioned that on your Twitter earlier.
Yeah, when I had a Twitter.
Yeah, when you had a Twitter.
Womp womp.
Just play the really sad piano music that YouTubers like to play and just zoom in on Allie's Twitter and just the sad music plays.
It's so sad. It'll be back in 6 days. I did write them a scathing email about their.
Yeah.
I called them a tone deaf version of Stormfront.
There you go.
I was like, I'm not allowed to talk about my own people. You guys are Nazis, blah, blah, blah. You allow terrorists to use your platform, but you don't like Jews on it. So we'll see what they respond as. They'll probably be like, that was just offensive. I called Jews oven people. I've said way worse.
Yeah, I know somebody who makes Jew jokes all the time, but he works at the gas chamber, so he gets to say it as much as he wants. He's like, I work at the gas chamber. He's just all proud about it. He makes Jewish jokes all the time. It's horrible.
That's kind of weird. Not gonna lie.
No, I know. He's a little bizarre.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
there's something.
I'm sure they're funny. That's just weird. Like,
I know
that you would take that much pleasure in working at a gas chamber and making Jew
No,
jokes. That's a little bit.
He actually hates his job. I think he just does that just to make it entertaining, honestly. He just likes to screw with the recruits and make them uncomfortable as possible. That's all that is.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Once is enough. After that, it just kind of gets annoying. It's like,
yeah.
Then it's kind of like maybe you have a problem with Jews.
I don't know. I'm just like, okay, have fun.
He just might have like a really bad sense of humor, or like finger is really far off the pulse or something. But
yeah, a little bit, just a touch. I have all sorts of bizarre friends, but then it's cool. They're fun. I like them.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else, Vulcan?
Do you guys want? I think this is around the time we said we'd call it quits.
9:30. That's right. Yay. We're not going to go on any more of those extended Tonka streams.
No. No idea how anyone can sit into a single stream for about 6 hours or more.
It's crazy.
Right?
Sinatra did a 12-hour stream the other day.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. I know somebody like challenged him to do it. He did a 12-hour stream.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
I wonder how flat your ass would get after that.
Sinatra got enough cushion for the pushing. He good.
To everyone who watched tonight, thank you for stopping by. I thank my two guests, Hitsugi and Harley.
Yeah.
A nice night and stuff, and look out for Lily Alley. I don't know what she'll do to you.
Lily Alley.